Today we'll talk about factoring. To factor trinomials, we will first make sure to rearrange terms so that the exponents are in descending order. This means that the exponents are placed in an order from largest to smallest. Then we will replace the middle term with terms that are a product of the first and last numbers, but also have a sum of the original middle number. Lastly, we'll factor by grouping. To factor a difference of squares, we will take the square root of the first term, and then we'll take the square root of the last term. We will place the results into two sets of parentheses, inserting a plus in one set of parentheses and a minus into the other set. Let's take a look at an example. In this example, we're asked to factor by grouping. When we first look at the expression, we have the negative 19y plus 10 plus 6y squared. Our exponents are not in descending order. So the first thing we have to do is rearrange our terms. The 6y squared will have to come to the front. We have 6y squared minus 19y plus 10. In order to factor by grouping, we have to have four terms. So we have to figure out how to separate the middle term, the minus 19y, so that we have the four terms we need to factor by grouping. To find the two numbers that we need, we find two numbers that we can multiply together, and they're equal to the first number times the last number. In this case, they're equal to 60. But when we add the exact same numbers together, we get the middle term of negative 19. Thinking of all of the factors of 60, but keeping in mind that the sum has to be negative 19. The numbers are negative 15 and negative 4. Negative 15 times negative 4 is a positive 60. Negative 15 plus negative 4 is negative 19. We will rewrite our expression using negative 15 and negative 4 for our middle terms. So I have 6y squared minus 15y minus 4y plus 10. Now we can factor by grouping. I'll separate my terms into pairs. The greatest common factor for the first pair of terms is 3y. So I'll divide the first pair of terms by 3y. So I have 2y minus 5. The second pair of terms, my greatest common factor is 2, but because the first term is negative, I will factor out a negative 2. I will also divide by negative 2. So negative 4y times negative 2 is a positive 2y. Negative 10, positive 10 times negative 2 is a minus 5. The expressions in the parentheses are exactly the same. So we have a greatest common factor of 2y minus 5. Our other polynomial is 3y minus 2. This example is a special case. This case is called a difference of squares. Difference because of the subtraction sign in the middle. Squares because 25x squared and 49 are perfect squares. To factor a difference of squares, I will take the square root of the first term, 25x squared, and the square root of the last term, 49. The square root of 25x squared is 5x. the square root of 49 is 7. When I factor, I have 5x minus 7 as one factor. My other factor will be 5x plus 7. When you factor a difference of squares, your factors will have different signs.